Alright, today we are on the last section, last paragraph, the concluding paragraph, the conclusion. And so this basically is just a lot of going back to your introduction and paraphrasing your thesis, paraphrasing your hook, and we're going to go through the rest. The only new thing would be the last section down at the bottom, which is called call to action. So I will talk about that once we get there. So you have to, of course, going from one body paragraph to your conclusion, you have to have an appropriate transition. So you can do, I'll give you some ideas. You can do finally, comma, to conclude, comma, in conclusion. And there are other ways you can conclude your paragraph. But those are 3 examples. So I'm just going to use in conclusion. And then, of course, comma. So in order to paraphrase your thesis, let's go back to our thesis in our introduction paragraph. I will remind you of what mine is. It is, Native Americans should have been removed to Western lands because Native Americans were uncivilized. So I need to reword this with the same idea, but I don't want to be repetitive from my introduction paragraph, my thesis. So I'm going to write that right here. Next will be the paraphrased hook. So again, let's go back to what you did for your hook. And remember that you either used a quotation or you dropped the reader into a scene. You used background information or a surprising fact. So again, you are going to paraphrase your hook right here. So you're rewording it so you're not repetitive. Okay, the next thing is a paraphrase bridge. So that background information that you used on the Indian Removal Act, or we talked about how you could use Trail of Tears background information. You're going to come back to that, and you're going to paraphrase your bridge. Okay, so your bridge is found in your introduction. You're going to paraphrase it. You're going to use the same idea from your bridge, using different words. You're going to place it right here. And then last of the paraphrasing is counterclaim and rebuttal. Okay, once again, we are going to go back to our counterclaim and rebuttal in our introduction. So go back to your introduction and look at what you wrote for your counterclaim and rebuttal. And you are going to paraphrase it, use the same ideas, but you're going to reword it right here. Okay, the last thing would be call to action. I forgot to make that green. Okay, so the call to action is where you tell your audience what you want them to do after reading the paper. You don't say you, okay? You can't say you, we can't say we, our, us. We have to use the implied you. You have to tell them what you want them to do. So if you're arguing that Native Americans should have been removed, then you have to tell them what you want them, how you want them to act, what you want them to do after reading your argument. If you are arguing that the Native Americans should not have been removed, then you are going to tell them what you want them to do after reading your argument. So an idea could be, you could start out with, do not allow, do not take away. Notice I'm not saying you don't take away. Remember, we don't say don't because that's a contraction. You have to spell out the 2 words that would make the contraction because it's a formal writing. So you can say do not allow, do not take away. Please do not, ... Okay, there's some ideas on how you could start that out. So you do not use you, we, us, I. Okay, you can't use any of those words in your call to action. So it can be tricky, but you're telling them what you want them to do, how you want them to act, what action you want them to take after reading your arguments.